really, really bad. Why did the Devatas put him in such a situation? There's one commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam we came across where it's described the reason. Because Vaishnava Seva is such a powerful thing. And the Devatas understood that. The Devatas understood that Kamsa was so powerful to defeat all the Devatas. And they're watching and they're thinking, now look, now Kamsa is serving Vasudeva and Devaki. This is terrible. If he does this Vaishnava Seva, then he's going to become so powerful. What will happen? So we have to stop this Vaishnava Seva. And therefore they gave this warning in the sky. So according to the Harivamsa Purana, Krishna appeared simultaneously in two places. The Harivamsa Purana says that Garbha Kali to Sampurne Ashtame Masite Shriyo. That Devaki cha Yashoda cha Susutsave Samam Tada. The word asampurna means that an untimely birth, that he was born prematurely. Devaki cha Yashoda cha Sususavate Samam Tada. At the same time, Samam, Devaki and Yashoda gave birth. But in the prison of Kamsa, it wasn't exactly a birth. Technically, we would call it an avirbhav. There were two things. One is an avirbhav, and the other is a janma. The janma is when a baby's born, and the umbilical cord is cut. And according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, according to the Brahmavaivarta Purana and other literatures, that is described there in Bhagavatam, Jata Karma Majasyavai. That umbilical cord was cut, the Jata Karma Samskara was performed in the house of Nanda Maharaj. So that's proof that unless the umbilical cord was very, very long and went all the way across the Jamuna to Mathura, it's proof that Krishna is actually the son of Yashoda. So that was a janma. And when a baby is born and the umbilical cord is cut, then the baby cries. And it's something which is full of great sweetness. That's janma. Avirbhav means when someone just, there's a flash of lightning and someone just appears in the room. And it's very shocking. Actually, it's probably better that Krishna in Mathura wasn't born. According to Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that was Vasudeva Krishna, the four-handed expansion of the Lord. And he appeared with a helmet, the Sudarshan Chakra, a club, and all the different paraphernalia of Lord Narayan. It would be very difficult for a woman to give birth to a baby with a metal helmet and a Sudarshan Chakra and a club. So probably it's better that he appeared. And when he appeared, Vasudeva and Devaki got down on the ground and they began to offer prayers. Deva Deva Jagatpate. Oh, my dear Lord, you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They were speaking like this. According to the book Garga Samhita, after the appearance of Vasudeva Krishna in the prison of, the appearance of Vasudeva Krishna, the appearance of Vasudeva in the prison of Vasudeva, he changed back into the form of a two-handed baby, and Vasudeva carried him across the Jamuna to the home of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul. Girl, Maya, Subhadra. And there was Nanda Nandan Krishna, Swayam Rup Govinda, the original form of Krishna. And that form of Krishna, by the potency of Yoga Maya, was not seen by Vasudeva. So he placed that Vasudeva Krishna down in the bed, and that Vasudeva expansion of Krishna entered into Nanda Nandan Krishna and performed pastimes for 16 years in Brajbhumi until Akrura took him out of Vrindavan. But Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. It wasn't Krishna who left, but it was his Vasudeva expansion. So Krishna was born as a son of Yashoda. And we read this account from the Ananda Vrindavan Champa. And it's also described in the Gopal Champa that when Krishna was born, he began to cry. And Yashoda woke up. And she looked over and she saw this baby, which looked like a blue, an amazing blue gem. And that baby was covered with amniotic fluid, with the fluid from the mother in the womb. And Krishna. And at that time, she became afraid. And she started offering prayers to Lord Narayan. Please protect my baby. There's a witch. And she started shouting at what she thought was a witch, which is only her own reflection. Go away, Chalo, go away. Get out from here. She didn't offer prayers, as Vasudeva and Devaki did. So there's a difference in their mood. And as Krishna was growing up, continually there was this conception that maybe actually Krishna's not really the son of Yashoda. Once, at the place known as Brahmanda Ghat, the boys who were bathing with Krishna, playing in the water with him, they began teasing him, as sometimes boys do. And they began teasing Krishna. They said, we know something you don't know. We know something you don't know. And Krishna, like a little boy, came and said, what is it? What is it? And then the boy said, we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you. What is it? And finally the boy said, we know that Yashoda is not really your mother. And when they said that to Krishna, Krishna, just by the way, not to offend any of the exalted brahmacharis we have here, but Krishna, he's not a brahmachari. Krishna is a mamachari. He's very, very attached to his mother. And when he heard those harsh words from the boys, tears immediately came to his eyes, and his lips started quivering. And Krishna didn't say a word. All the rest of the Vrindavan was searching for Krishna, and no one could find him. Finally, toward the end of the day, one of the Palinis, one of the Sabara ladies of Vrindavan, the tribal ladies, came to Mother Yashoda, and she said, are you looking for Krishna? And Yashoda Rani, she said, yes. Do you know where he is? Yes, I do. Come with me. And that Sabara lady, she took Yashoda deep in the forest. And there was a large tree which was hollow on the inside. And Krishna was sitting inside of the tree, and he was crying and crying. And Mother Yashoda, she came there, and she said, Kanu? Kanu, what's wrong? And Krishna wouldn't look at her. And Mother Yashoda reached into the tree, and she picked up her baby Gopal, and she put him on her lap. And she said, Kanu, tell me why are you crying? What's wrong? And Krishna, his lip was shaking, he was crying. He said, they say you're not my mother. And then Mother Yashoda, she said, no, it's not true. You're my baby. You were born from me. And she began to cry. And then Krishna said that why am I black and you're not black? Now some Vaishnavas say that Yashoda also has a blackish complexion. But other times they say she's not. Krishna asked her then, why am I black and you're not? And Mother Yashoda, like any good mother, told him, silly boy, you don't know. And that's why you're black. And Krishna's a little boy. He thought, oh, that makes sense. And then Mother Yashoda told him, and because I was giving you milk from a black cow. Because you drank that black milk, the milk from the black cow, now you become blackish. A little side note, do you know they did a survey in America? 18% of the Americans think that chocolate milk comes from brown-colored cows. They don't understand very well. Anyway, other Vaishnavas, they say that the real reason why Krishna is black is because Krishna lives in the eyes of the Braj gopis. And the gopis, they're putting black kajal around their eyes, and because of that association with that black kajal, Krishna has also become black. In any case, this story is there. There's a difference between the mood of Vasudeva and Devaki and the mood of Nanda and Yashoda. The mood of Vasudeva and Devaki is full of Aishvarya. And it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Aishvarya Priti Sankuchita. That Aishvarya, or the knowledge of the opulence of that personality, it makes the love shrink. Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes he was sleeping in the same bed with Krishna. Sometimes he was eating on the same plate. They were joking with each other and sometimes wrestling and playing. But when Krishna showed Arjuna his Virat Roop, then Arjuna became frightened and he began to offer prayers. Deva Deva Jagatpate, Dosha Kami Moha Dami Kodali Jadas. I have committed so many offenses, please forgive me. Please make me into your servant. And their intimacy was lost. In a similar way, Vasudeva and Devaki, when Krishna came to them in the Bhagavatam, in the 85th chapter, it's described that Krishna came before them. And they began offering prayers to Krishna. They said, Yuvam na suto sakshat pradana purusheshvara. They told Krishna, actually, you're not our son. You're Bhagavan. You're God. And Krishna said, oh yeah, I guess so. And he was a little disappointed. And then he made Devaki forget all about that. But when Uddhava came to Nanda and Yashoda in the 46th chapter of the 10th canto, and he tried to preach to them, because Nanda and Yashoda were crying in separation from Krishna. And Uddhava began to preach to them, don't you know, he's not your son. He's Bhagavan. Yuvayoreva naivayam atmajo Bhagavan Hari. Yuvayoreva naivayam atma. He's not your son. Atmajo Bhagavan Hari. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarve Shamakmajo Yatma Pita Mata Sahishvara. He's the son, he's the soul, he's the father and mother of everyone. But when, my Guru Maharaj said, that when Uddhava said that to Nanda and Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj said, what are you, some kind of boka? Some kind of idiot? We thought you were Vidvan. We thought you were a learned person. You're Brihaspati Sishya, a disciple of Brihaspati. But Uddhava, you're just a boy. You don't know anything. You don't understand Bhagavan. We understand Bhagavan. Narayan is Bhagavan. Narayan is Mula Karna. He's the original source of everything. Purusha and Prakriti. He's a Nadi. He has no beginning. That Bhagavan is Sarveshvara. He's a supreme controller. And we know Bhagavan Narayan. He's in our house in the form of Shalagram. We worship him. They have one Brahman, Pujari, who comes every day to worship him. His name, you know his name? Bhagavan Narayan. But those symptoms you won't find even in one drop in Krishna. Narayan is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karna Karnam. He creates the universe. But our Krishna, he's a breastfed boy. He drinks some milk from his mother. Narayan is pure. Narayan is peaceful. He's apapa vidha, sinless. But my Krishna, he's very greedy and angry. He said, where are the symptoms of Narayan and Krishna? How can you say this? Narayan is such a sankalpa. He's the supreme absolute truth. But my Krishna, he's very expert at telling lies. And sometimes he steals things. How can you say that he's Narayan? Narayan is Aptakam. He's completely self-satisfied. But our Krishna, he starts crying. He wants things. How can you say that our Krishna is Bhagavan? So this is the mood of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. They don't want to accept, they can't see that Krishna is Bhagavan. People see through the light of Shastra, Shastra Chakshush. But Nanda Maharaj is blind. He's Premanda. He's blind to the Krishna Prem. And he can't see that. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they like to think of Krishna as Nanda Nandan Krishna, Yashoda Nandan Krishna. Sometimes Krishna kills the demons in Braj. And sometimes the boys, when they come home in the evening, they go and they tell Mother Yashoda, it was amazing. There was this giant duck demon, Bakasura, and Krishna bifurcated, he broke open his beak and killed him. And then when we were coming home, an amazing thing happened. There were all these people in the sky, and there was one fellow who was riding on a bull, and he had 5 heads and ashes all over his body. And there was another fellow who was riding on an elephant. I don't know how the elephant was in the sky. There was an elephant there, and he had eyes all over his body. And all these personalities, they were throwing flowers on Krishna, and they were addressing him as Bhagavan. When Mother Yashoda heard that, she said, really? My Gopal? My Gopal is Bhagavan? Isn't that sweet? It didn't weaken her sense of love for Krishna. But Vasudeva and Devaki, when Krishna came before them, they began to offer prayers. And they said, actually, you're not our son. On one occasion in Vrindavan, the boys came to Mother Yashoda and they said, Yashoda Rani, your Gopal, he's been eating mati, eating dirt. Why does Krishna eat dirt? Krishna doesn't eat dirt in Vaikuntha. He doesn't eat dirt in the heavenly planets, Swargalok, but he eats the dirt in Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is so very, very dear to him. So the boys were saying, Mother Yashoda, your Gopal, he's been eating mati, he's been eating dirt. And Mother Yashoda became very disturbed. She said, Gopal, come here. Have you been eating dirt? And Gopal's very clever. He put his hand over his mouth like this. He turned his head and he said, no, Mata, they're telling lies. They're lying. It's not true. And then Mother Yashoda, she said, open your mouth, let me see. And little baby Krishna, he didn't have to achieve perfection. He's just a baby. He wasn't doing yoga asanas and practicing something. He's the Bhagavan, Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. He opened his little mouth, and Mother Yashoda looked inside, and she was shocked. She saw all the universes. She saw the heavenly planets. She saw all the devatas. She saw all the personalities of the universe. She saw the residents of Vrindavan. She saw herself looking in Krishna's mouth. And what happened to Yashoda? When Arjuna saw the Virat Rupa of Krishna in the battle of Kurukshetra, when Duryodhana saw the Virat Rupa of Krishna in Hastinapur, they became afraid. Arjuna began offering prayers. Duryodhana thought, oh, I made a big mistake. But Mother Yashoda, what happened to her when she saw the Virat Rupa? She became afraid, but not for herself. She thought, what happened? A bhoot, a ghost has come and attacked my Gopal. So she wanted to call for the Brahmins to chant some mantra to drive the ghost away. But that day was Upananda's birthday. And Nanda Maharaj along with Rohini, and all the Brahmins had gone to Upananda's house. Upananda is the older brother of Nanda Maharaj. And so no one was there, just the boys, and Mother Yashoda alone with Krishna. So Mother Yashoda, she's a very wise lady. They don't underestimate the wisdom of these old ladies of the villages. And she thought, I've heard that Gobar is very powerful, cow dung. And the Gobar is so auspicious, it can drive away the ghosts. Boot. So she went to the Goshala. She took a bucket. She filled it up with Gobar. She came back. She said, Gopal, come here, stand here. And she started smearing the Gobar all over Gopal's body. She was smearing it all through his hair, all over his face, all over every inch of his body. And Gopal's standing there with this Gobar all over his body. And Gopal was thinking to himself, everywhere else, when I show my Virat Rup, people offer prayers. But here in Vrindavan, when I show my Virat Rup, they smear Gobar all over me. You could do a drama like this. Get one of the students to be Christian, someone else smears Gobar all over me. Krishna thought at that time, henceforth, I'm never again going to show my form, my Virat Rup form in Vrindavan. It's not the place for it. So Krishna says very emphatically in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyamam avijanati yavanyashchasmitatvata, that if you want to know me in truth, completely understand me, the only possible way is through bhakti. And we see in the realm of bhakti, there are different levels. There's a difference between the love of Mother Yashoda and the love of Devaki. So, this is our Katha for Janmastami. If anybody online has any reflections or thoughts, you can go ahead and share that with us. But we'd like to do a little Kirtan, a little bhajan now with the devotees. Shri Krishna Janmastami Go praying. So I want to thank you very much for those who invited us to take part in your Janmastami program at the university. Thank you very much. I hope that is helpful for you. And I want to invite everybody, please make Krishna appear in your heart for Janmastami. And this is the purpose of our movement. We want Krishna to appear in everyone's heart. So please come and visit us in this Madhavananda temple, or come here to Madhavananda where we're at, and take some Krishna prasadam and sit and chant with the devotees in Kirtan. So thank you very much. So they asked me to do this thing on holiday. I'm going to suggest that I do that, and then maybe I speak some